So I cannot keep Shabbat and keep my job. So I walk into my boss Scott's office and I tell him, like, I'm leaving, and no one leaves willingly. And he's like, good luck, Jamie, ever finding a job in the TV industry with this new Shomer Sabbath thing of yours. I stand on the red carpet holding the mic in my hands. The camera is next to me, capturing my interview with Beyonce, Ben Affleck, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Hudson, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Babs. I interviewed Barbara Walters herself. This life of working in TV and television and Hollywood, it takes everything from you, including your relationships. Once you've seen it behind the curtain, you know what it's all about. You know that nothing is real. It's all fake.
It's not the need for attention. It is the recognition that Hashem gave us the talents to communicate and inspire other people. We are vessels. Like you said, it's a shame not to use it. It's a responsibility to use it.
And I always say at the backdrop of the Western Wall where heaven and earth meet.
You could have been sitting anywhere and you're sitting across the Kotel. It literally has come full circle.
Yeah, I could have been at NBC Studios at Rockefeller Plaza, and now I'm at Aish Studios at Western Wall Plaza. And October 7th happened. He said, Jamie, could you introduce this evening and get on in front of the cameras and in front of the live stream and in front of millions?
You became Jamie from Israel. Jamie from Aisha Torah.
Thank you, God, every day that I live here, and I would never want to live anywhere else.
I'm Chanale, and this is the Weekly Squeeze on Moral Edge. I want to introduce you to a 5-year-old girl performing on a stage in the Schubert Theater in Philadelphia. She's the only child in the adult dance troupe. The lights are on, the audience is watching, and during that performance, something magnificent falls into place that will drive almost every decision she makes for the next 40 years. She described it herself recently, and I could totally relate. She says, I'm addicted to applause. I was hooked before I had words for it. That 5-year-old grew up to be Jamie Geller. And before you think you know where this is going, hang on, because Jamie Geller is one of the most genuinely complicated people in the Jewish public world. And the easy version of her story, the cheerful queen of kosher who made Aliyah and found God and built an empire and now runs media for Aish, well, that version leaves out almost everything worth talking about. So let's start at the beginning. She grew up in Pennsylvania in a Jewish home that wasn't particularly observant, attended Hebrew Academy, then went to NYU to study broadcast journalism and Hebrew literature. Graduated magna cum laude, PHI Beta Kappa. I don't even know these terms. I went to SEM. Landed at HBO, then CNN, then Food Network. By the time she was in her late 20s, she had a career most people would spend their whole lives trying to build. And then she became religious. The way it tends to happen when someone of Jamie's intensity discovers something. All the way in. Balas Tshuva, Shabbat, kosher, the whole structure. And almost immediately, she channeled that same energy that she had been giving into the television production into food. Because food was the container she found for everything she wanted to say about Jewish life. Joy of Kosher launched in 2010. Cookbooks followed, 7 of them bestsellers, a PBS Hanukkah special, 1 million followers, 5 million, 1 billion followers, 1 billion video views. The New York Times called her the Jewish Rachel Ray. CBS called her the Queen of Kosher. I call her my friend Jamie the Queen. And somewhere in the middle of building all that, she wrote a letter in the Times of Israel that most people in her position would never put in writing. She wrote, I am a person whose faith, whose trust in God, and joie de vivre wavers on a regular basis. I fall asleep at night feeling like a failure, realizing I could have been a better daughter, wife, mother, and citizen of the world. I neglected myself and my relationships in the name of my career. That's not the queen of anything. That's a real feeling person. In 2012, she made Aliyah, packed up her family, husband, Nachum, 6 kids, the whole media operation, and moved to Beit Shemesh. And if you think running a media empire from a new country wall, raising 6 kids and figuring out where to buy the right size garbage bags is easy, you have not made Aliyah. She built anyway, kept building. And then in 2021, Aish came calling. She's now their chief of media. Jamie Geller, I'm so happy you had time to make it today.
I have to tell you, I was in a bad mood today.
And now you're flying?
I have chills everywhere to hear my life story, which I obviously know so well because I lived it. but through your eyes and through your words,
well, that's
I'm
what
literally,
we're doing.
my hair is standing on edge at Moral Edge.
Exactly. That's
Literally.
what we're doing at Moral Edge. We are bringing our audience, people who live here, real, true, patriotic Israelis, and we're breaking down their stories, who they are, their struggles, the complexities of living here, and just what keeps them going. Because, girl, you are going.
We both are, by the way.
We are both going.
And you call me a patriotic Israeli, and you said that's what your like guest list looks like. Is it ever funny? Like the first time I read on Wikipedia that I'm like an Israeli American or an American Israeli, I was like, I'm Israeli? Like that's so crazy. Even though, of course, I have my identity card. Of course, I'm a citizen. But do you wear that title very easily?
So people, when I tell people I do hasbara, Israelis, they're like, wow, kol hakavod. I'm like, you're giving me credit for, but yes, every person who lives here and contributes and plays a role is a card-carrying Israeli, and the Israelis can respect it. It doesn't matter what language you think or do math in.
Correct.
You, my friend, have a new show, a filmed rooftop of the Aish World Center with the Kotel in the background talk show called No Reservations.
So we just renamed it. Breaking news here.
Breaking news here. Okay, perfect. I'm going to put a link in the show notes so people can watch it.
Thank you.
You had Neeson Black on.
Yes.
He spoke about his life growing up in a drug house. Eve Barlow was on. She spoke about her professional life being destroyed for telling the truth. And you ask every guest the same question: what breaks you?
Yeah.
Okay. Which tells us something. You don't ask that question unless you're deep and you thought hard about that.
Yeah.
That answer. So let's talk a little bit about the person behind the brand, starting with filling in people how you grew up and became a religious mom.
So you told the story that I love the stage at age 5. My mom actually went to sign up for dance classes in Center City, Philadelphia. And I was just waiting in the waiting room and I was bored and I heard the music and I started dancing. And that's when the choreographer saw me and he said, I want her to be in my show. And I was the only child in the adult performing dance troupe called The Waves. And I was the only soloist there. And that's when I fell in love with the stage. And so I loved the stage and I loved my life also. I went to a nice Jewish day school. We marched every year in the Israeli Day Parade. Such a fond memory in Philadelphia and something that I brought my kids to later on in life when we lived in Manhattan in New York City. And I just learned about like being a strong, outspoken, proud young Jewish woman. My grandparents were survivors of the Holocaust. My parents were born in Europe after the Holocaust. They moved from Transylvania to Pennsylvania. My mom started a group, Children of Survivors of the Holocaust, to help like children of survivors cope with everything that they were dealing as first generation born to Holocaust survivors. So just like Jewish history, Jewish identity, a love of Israel was very much part of our life. So then I head to NYU to go become famous. So you're like, why? What's the connection? So basically, even though I can dance really, really well, my mom did not want me to be a chorus girl. She didn't think there was like a lot of money in that or like a nice future for a nice Jewish girl. And unlike you, Chanale, I feel like I'm always in confession with you. Like every time I see you, I remind you I can't sing. So
I was just going to say, I can't dance. Like the thought of me dancing. We
complete each other.
Exactly. The thought of me dancing in public is enough to that's a horror show.
Yeah.
So, but I understand the desire to express yourself.
Yeah.
So one is through emotion,
yes.
One is through your vocal cords, just different.
Yeah, but like
expression.
A better career if you can sing and act if you want to be famous and just if you could dance.
Well, it's always good to have the gift of gab, to use your mouth.
That's for sure.
Is the moneymaker.
But I'm for sure. Yeah. Boy, have we worked on that.
Yes.
But so I head to NYU because I'm thinking I want to be famous, but I can't sing or act for my life. So what am I going to do? I decided I'm going to become a broadcast journalist. I grew up with my mom watching Oprah and Barbara Walters, and Barbara used to do Babs, we called her. She used to do a yearly special at the end of the year, like the 10 most fascinating people of the year. And she would pick the top 3 to interview. And we would be like glued to our seats.
And she was so glamorous.
Yes.
And the show was glamorous.
Meaning,
and the whole thing
she becomes famous in her own right, just by interviewing famous people.
She was an amazing journalist.
Yes. And just, she knew how to like pull the story out of someone and make them feel so comfortable and say things that they would never say anywhere else. And the whole thing, I was like, yeah, I could do that, you know? So I head to NYU to study broadcast journalism. And it's also, though, like this industry, not about where you go to school, not your alma mater, not about the Phi Beta Kappa or the GPA or the accolades of like, you know, what you graduate with. It's about, the industry is about who you know. So
I was going to say it's luck, where you end up, who you end up meeting, connections.
Networking and who you know. And I knew that from a very young age. So after my freshman year in the summer, I called up the person who I knew to get me an internship at CNN. And so I called up, her name is Lori, and this is how I know Lori. You've got to hear this. My mother's best friend growing up, Betty's ex-boyfriend, Sam, is on his second marriage to Bonnie, whose daughter from the first marriage is Lori, who I met outside the bathroom at Rosh Hashanah services like 4 years ago. She said to me, I work at CNN. Look me up when you get to New York.
I mean, if that's not Bashert, if
saying,
that's not directly from God.
It's like twins separated at birth, Lori and I called her up, and true to her word, she got me an internship at CNN. So I think I'm landing like international news, CNN. Like I know not on day one, but I want to be like involved with like decision makers, world leaders, politicians. And I know at the beginning I'll have to make coffee and like, take people to the makeup chair. But I thought like I'm in international news.
What was the?
But Lori worked in showbiz today in entertainment news. So I end up at the Oscars, the MTV Music Awards, the VH1 Fashion Awards, interviewing everyone.
Are there video clips of this? Because I've never seen them. Or have you not released them?
So basically I'm a producer. So what does that mean? I stand on the red carpet holding the mic in my hand. So my hand is very famous.
So you're
exactly. And the camera is next to me, capturing my interview with Beyonce, Ben Affleck, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Hudson, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Babs. I interviewed Barbara Walters herself. Wow. I was like, that was my most favorite. Like it was just an amazing, amazing life. So
how old were you at that time?
At that time I was 18. I was,
you were 18. Yeah. Okay. So when you were 18, and when I was 18, about that same time, we were living completally parallel, like different lives.
Yes. But you were in New York.
No, I was in Florida. I'm a Florida girl. Yet. I finished seminary. I think I went to Hawaii on shlichus. I was in the shidduch scene.
At one point in your story, you got to New York, though. I thought I remembered
I was in New York for a couple of years. Yes. But I was saying my world at that time as a religious woman was maybe one day I'll be like, I'll be a singer in the religious world.
Right.
I can't even imagine having those aspirations or even having those opportunities at such a young age. Yeah. But if you don't live the religious life, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. I just told this story recently that I had forgotten for so many years, but I was at the VH1 Fashion Awards and Bono, the lead singer of U2, just like grabbed me and hugged me. And he said the weirdest thing. I think he was on something, but he says to me like, stay innocent, my darling, stay innocent.
I bet they loved you though in that business because you're so wholesome and natural and charming and friendly.
I love people. Right. I love life.
Right.
I do love life.
And you connect to people and their stories.
Very much so. And I want to connect on a soul level, on a deeper level. And I love that. I loved interviewing people. I interviewed Giselle Bundchen there. Like she's now, like quite famous supermodel. I'm saying like it was really unbelievable. I had the opportunity to meet and interview so many people.
And what are you gathering? What is being garnered from speaking to these people whose entire lives revolve around materialism, acquiring more wealth, their looks,
looking beautiful,
the superficial things that we know don't really provide true satisfaction. So what did that have a role? Did that play a role in triggering you to find Yiddishkeit, to find Judaism?
That was exactly what expedited my spiritual journey. Who knows if I would have gone into...
You met Puff Daddy, you're like, I'm out.
Yeah, he was Puff Daddy then he was P. Diddy, now he's Sean Diddy.
Whatever he is, I don't have anything to do with that.
Oh, now, I mean, horrifying.
I know, you see, now, it's funny, here we are a couple decades later, we are seeing the fallout. We are seeing what happened to Britney Spears. I wanted to be Britney Spears. I'm embarrassed to admit it.
Well, it's so funny. We're so connected on such a deep level because my sister always says that I could have been Britney Spears because I was a good dancer and you can use auto-tune.
You don't need to sing.
You can use auto-tune for your voice. Chanale, you know that. And and I have the stage presence. And she actually used to say to my mom, you ruined Jamie's life because she could have been the next Britney Spears.
I know, but the irony.
She saved my life.
She saved your life.
We all know it now. I'm just saying that was us, at 18, 20 years old, thinking that we know the answer to what it is to live a perfect life.
Britney Spears' money would not be.
But it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You have to pick up, there's a Yiddish saying, you have to pick up the whole pekala. You have to pick up the whole package. You can't just take the money. You have to take the failed marriages, the mental instability, the estrangement from the family, from her own children, the drugs, the alcohol, living now alone. How many divorces? More than we can count. You want that money? The money comes with that. That's the crazy thing. And that's what's so hard to separate because they're even so and the real train wreck and disaster that her life is, they're still in allure I want that money. Oh, I want that house. Oh, I want that body.
Because they are in the business of making it look so appealing. Yeah. And we could cross this over to social media where influencers became the new celebrities.
Yes.
And they depict this perfect life that revolves around what they're buying and where they're going and what they have. And even though we are already, let's say, a decade in to knowing that social media is not what you see, it's all smoke and mirrors, you still can't help but think that, but to compare and to be affected by it. So even if you know, doesn't mean that you're.
Even if you know, it doesn't mean you're immune.
Right.
And jealousy is probably one of the most powerful, like, traits that, characteristics that we have that are the hardest to overcome.
Right.
And even when you know, you still like fool yourself as you're watching it. And every single time there's a fall from grace from a celebrity, that's one of the things we did at CNN is we would help lift them up and make them a huge star. And then we would
rush
report.
To cover them.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly. And their fall from grace. Literally. And everybody experienced it. And it's literally almost just a matter of time. And even so, we still like glamorize life.
So just for people watching, I got to ask, in your most difficult moments, and we all have them, whether they're financially, family issues, the wars here in Israel, your career, ups and downs, all the challenges of being a religious mom.
And a woman in this world.
And a woman in general in this world. But I'm saying specifically this lifestyle.
Yes. Okay.
Have you ever thought, a tiny time, I just want to hear you say it out loud, wouldn't it have been cool to maybe be a superstar in that other world? Because you could have. You could have been Megyn Kelly, and then we wouldn't have to be listening to Megyn Kelly. Yeah,
Isn't that crazy how she turned on us?
I don't say she's turned on us. I try not to take it personally. I just think there's a whole deluge of anti-Semitic, conversations that are happening between all these think tanks. I don't know.
I used to be a regular on her show. I went on for every single Jewish holiday when she had the Megyn Kelly show in the hour.
I thought she was Jewish
on NBC.
I thought she was Jewish.
And let me just tell you, I believe it. She had such a love, being just like a New York cosmopolitan woman, such a love for the Jewish people and the culture and the holidays. I know friends of hers, she so warmly embraced me on her show.
Anti-Semitism is a virus. It is a mind virus, and no one is, like you said, immune.
Yeah.
Even Megyn Kelly is susceptible.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And I really feel that. And I'm not the type of person that would call her out to her face. I mean,
by the way, I feel like you've always been very like confident.
Yes.
And you've been able to speak like to Candace like that. Like I feel like I never could do that.
It's not that. I'm a people's person.
Yeah.
And I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So I always assume people have their my best interest, their best.
Yes.
Just people are good.
Yeah.
So
I lean with that assumption too.
Right. But you have to have when you deal with these people, not everyone's coming at it the same way we are.
I know. But I think that if you don't lead with that assumption, that's when you change. And okay, I'll be disappointed by someone else and I'll be surprised. But I didn't sell myself out. I want to assume the best in others. That's an important character trait to hold also. Well, we need to rid ourselves of jealousy. We need to still go in with a good eye, a positive, think of people in a positive light, assume the best. I'm not saying in a vulnerable, irresponsible way, but I'm just saying.
But why don't people do that for Israel? That's what I wish. I wish people would just look at Israel with a more positive frame and give us a little more credit and just stop pulling us apart and scrutinizing us. I mean, even I get that Megyn Kelly is America first, and I get that it's not just her voice, she's part of a whole team and a whole messaging system. But I was hopeful that her ideas would be consistent with ours. But like you said, it's a fake world, and we cannot assume that people have good intentions or are not motivated by nefarious reasons. Unfortunately, and you've seen that behind the curtains.
Yeah.
So you step out of that world. There's so much going on. I'm already thinking in my world, you're not so much Jamie, the chef and the cook and the.
I had a whole life before that.
I know, and after that too. Yeah. And after that too. So I'm like, there's so many chapters we have to get to. Stick around for episode 19 with Jamie Geller. Okay. So.
Will you have me back?
Yes, always. So you step out of this world. Was there any, did they know you were becoming religious? Was there any?
So the issue is my mom was so pleased and so proud with my career. I didn't become a chorus girl, but I'm rubbing elbows with the biggest celebrities known to man at the time. But she also really wanted me to find a nice Jewish guy to settle down with. And she didn't think I'd find him at the after parties of the Oscars, or the after party.
Plenty of Jews, but not such.
Right, but not like the ones you want to settle down with and build a nice Jewish home with. Exactly. And so she didn't want me to meet the wrong guy in the wrong place. So she sent me to these young professional Jewish singles events at Aish on the Upper West Side in Manhattan. And I went there and they would speak about there'd be a class about the weekly Torah portion and how you could apply it to your life and make yours a better, like we said before, wife, daughter, future spouse, woman, citizen of the world, etc. They were speaking to young professionals. They knew who they were speaking to, and they made the Torah portion relevant. So it wasn't just this like old time history book, but like, wow, this could help me in my life today. And then after there's like sushi and wine and mingles, singles and mingles, that type of thing. And I actually liked the Torah even more than the guys that were showing up at the event. And I decided I went to a weekend seminar. It's called a Shabbaton, where there was this Aish Discovery seminar, which sort of reconciles Torah and God and science and the Big Bang Theory and all these types of things. And I was like, I love it. I'm all in. I want to start keeping the Sabbath. But I decided to start keeping the Sabbath in December, when Shabbos starts at like 4.
Right. Now Shabbat is still 9.
Yeah. Well, but I'm saying it starts with sundown, and it fluctuates based on the time of year. Now the show I work for at CNN called Showbiz Today is live every single day at 4:30. So I cannot keep Shabbat and keep my job. So therein lies the conflict. So that's the first coming to Moses moment, we'll call it. So I walk into my boss Scott's office, who is a really nice Jewish guy. And I tell him I'm leaving, and people will give their right lung, their left their kidney, their left leg, everything to be there. And no one leaves willingly. Like, you've got to drag people out kicking and screaming, and with security, by the way, no one's leaving this opportunity. And he's like, good luck, Jamie, ever finding a job in the TV industry with this new Shomer Sabbath thing of yours. He's like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I cannot believe you're leaving. Sayonara, goodbye, ciao, shalom. And that's when I head to Israel for the first time. And I go to seminary to learn what it means to be an observant Jewish woman and keeping Shabbat. Because you grew up with that. I grew up very Jewish, but not observant, very culturally Jewish.
I can't wrap my mind around having an opportunity like that. I'm just thinking, let's say I grew up religious and I got into singing, and then someone said, well, you can continue to sing and produce 8 records and go on to do your podcast, or you could embrace Sharia and, and never sing again in public. You made that choice knowing that it would take certain things off the table permanently.
Yeah, but it's so interesting. I did make a choice. You're talking about this theoretical thing where if it was both in front of me, what would I do? When you have it, then it's much easier to say,
what was
been there,
at the
done
end
that.
of the rainbow? What did you think was waiting for you?
So for me, I kind of was been there, done that. This place is not so glamorous. These people are not so great. And I'm not even talking just about the celebrities. When you look around you at the people you surround yourself with, you want to surround yourself with people that you respect, that you like, that you love, that you want to
look up to, that can be mentors,
advisors, that are living lives like the life that you're hoping to build and dream. And I'm looking at people who are in their second, third, or fourth marriage, or living at home with a significant other and a cat, because this life of working in TV and television and Hollywood, it takes everything from you, including your relationships. You are on set 20, 22, 24 hours. Affairs happen. I was living in the penthouse at the time in Manhattan, a block from CNN. And we were subletting it from the owner, me and another producer, one of the anchors. It was his penthouse, and he was on his 3rd marriage. He just married a beauty queen, and they moved down to, I think, Battery Park, but he wanted to keep the penthouse just in case this was going to be his 3rd failed marriage. He wanted to have his bachelor pad back. So we were keeping it warm from him as a subletter. Okay. So I'm just saying this is the life. This is it's almost then, once you've seen it, behind the curtain, you know what it's all about. You know that nothing is real. It's all fake. And even the people that work in it do not have a life that you aspire to. And it's
but
is there even a choice? But
everybody gets out in time, because some people end up getting caught up in the money, caught up in addictions, caught up in the lifestyle, and not everyone finds the light.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
And also, it's siyata d'shmaya. I mean, it's a hand that almost reached
divine
down.
providence.
Divine providence. Yeah. God wanted you, I would say, almost plucked you out of that environment and said, okay, Jamie, Chanale, we're going to try something else, and you're going to flourish and grow there as well.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, and you're going to find
me out.
Plucked you out, and you're going to find a different reward that's not materialistic and not instant and not based on dopamine and all that instant gratification.
And then social media came around and ruined all that plan.
Oh, definitely. We want to get into social media. By the way, I feel like social media, it has its like these kufot, like these periods. Yeah. And
I'm like, you're so Israeli now that I'm translating your Hebrew.
Yeah, I know, right? There we go. I know. Yeah, I'm proud. So when I was saying when I did an interview with Avi Proctor that I was inspired by your Facebook posts when I made Aliyah, because Facebook was all the
crazy, all the rage,
and that's where the successful people were. It was like blowing
Facebook and
up.
YouTube. That was the
right. Yeah. And then we have now with Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and Threads and X and TikTok and so on. Okay, so there was, I think for us also, we are the generation that transitioned onto social media.
Correct.
We are the guinea pigs.
Correct.
And
we remember life before it.
And also we had, I think, the biggest impact on us because we kind of went from a place where news was private, your life was private, what you ate was private, if you were divorced, that was private, to having no choice. If you were a professional, you had no choice but to overshare. Yeah. Anything.
In order to be relevant, in order to further your career and your financial success.
Look at me, and also look at me all the time. My windows, I always look at it like airplane windows. Yeah. You open and close them. Yeah. And some people open them and everyone just peeks in, and looks. And
I like that.
Yeah.
And look at me happy and look at me sad and look at me beautiful and look at me crying and look at me.
Look at me. Yes. Yeah. But that is so contradictory to modesty. Yeah. To Jewish privacy. We speak about it. We pray every morning. Ma tovu olecha Yaakov, mishkanecha Yisrael. The tents that were arranged in the desert were aligned in a way that the windows and doors didn't face each other because privacy is so important in Judaism. So we were it was thrust on us.
Completely.
And we had to, I
almost feel like it's unfair.
When I started recording my albums, I didn't put my face on my albums because, I was saying they put them on the bottom shelves because women's faces were nowhere. Yeah. Then you were supposed to put your face online, which you did right away. Yeah. So speak about that. Like that was also groundbreaking and also bold in our world. Were you ever afraid like people are going to say Jamie's pushing the envelope? Or were you just saying, you know what, I am doing this in a kosher, pardon the pun, but a kosher, wholesome way, and this is what I have to do to succeed?
I have to say I didn't know better. I didn't come from this world. So I didn't know that what I was doing was such a, let's call it faux pas or so controversial. I thought, I am a religious woman. I am an accomplished woman. I am dressed modestly. I'm speaking with a nice voice without foul language about things like at that time it was kosher food. Like I even picked an area that I thought was very like domestic.
Controversial free.
Yeah, correct. And I thought like what could be wrong with what I'm doing? Little did I know that I was, opening a door for something and for a conversation around things that I knew nothing about. I didn't know about no women's pictures and albums on the lower shelf of the music store. But
you change things. It's almost like ignorance is bliss.
I guess so. Right. I totally did it unknowingly. I thought I was doing something good.
Describe to people what you did though, because at the high point of Facebook, when you were thriving in you're always thriving, but what I'm saying when you were big into the whole cooking scene. Yeah. Okay. Describe a little bit what your life was like. So, because it seemed from the outside, Jamie Geller, super successful, living in Israel, living the dream. And
that's actually what I called the film. So basically what I did is the first thing I did, I always say you could take the girl out of TV, but you can't take the TV out of the girl. So I wrote this kosher cookbook that I think, I'm going on tour with, and I'm going to be doing cooking demonstrations in front of crowds of women. Like it's such a nice little kosher, modest career. I'm thinking women audiences only. And what the kitchen. It's like I put myself as like a modern liberal woman back in the kitchen. Do you know what I'm saying? What was I doing that's so controversial? But then I just thought oh my gosh, we don't have any kosher cooking videos. So I start making kosher cooking videos.
There was one video with Chana Winner. And she did a Shabbat video and we watched it 1,000 times. We learned how to make chatzilim and we learned how to make challah.
Yeah, chatzilim being eggplant. Yes. Yeah.
And when we watched it, we watched it because it was so awful. It was
like a train wreck?
It was.
I don't know her, so I'm saying
it was expensive to
but her
produce.
name was Chana too. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it was expensive to produce, and she made a beautiful Shabbat, but it was so rare. We must have watched it till the ribbon ran thin. But so yeah, it was.
So I started making kosher cooking videos, and then when we decided to make Aliyah, so I looked out there and I saw there's no like documentary of making Aliyah. And I was like, I called up Nefesh B'Nefesh, which is like the primary Aliyah agency for American-based jury, North American-based jury coming to Israel. And I said to them, look, I'm Jamie Geller. I'm a TV producer. I'm also a cookbook author. I don't know if you know me, but I'm making Aliyah. And I think I'd like to produce a documentary in real time following my family's journey. We made a 10-part series called Joy of Aliyah. And each episode had a name. And the last one was called Living the Dream.
And you inspired me to make Aliyah. And I sat there watching your videos in the middle of the night, crying, thinking, I cannot believe this is going to happen to me. And because I also love the attention and love that, it's not that you love the attention. I want to address that.
Good. Go for it.
It's not the need for attention. It is the recognition that Hashem gave us the talents to communicate and inspire other people through words, through motion, through connection, through all of that tells another Jew, I'm here for you, I love you, I want to know your story, and I want to give to you and make your life better. And that's how we get our nourished. That's how I
like that word, nourished.
Yes, I need it. Yeah. I need to record my episodes. I need to communicate my experiences. I need to write them into songs or whatever it is. And I appreciate that Hashem gave me the skills and the talents and the savvy to sit down and hone those skills, because I'm not
It's almost a crime not to use them, by the way.
It's a crime not to use them. It's my responsibility to use them.
Yes.
Right. Those are a gift to me. So I don't look at it like I'm desperate for attention. I just look at it, what I do needs attention.
Right. But can I also say that knowing that you impacted someone, that feedback also nourishes me. People stop me all the time. Can I take a picture? Or they want to take that. I'm so sorry to bother you. I go, I live for this. I don't live to be, it's not a bother.
You're a
it's
vessel.
Like something that I did impacted you. It made you want to make Aliyah. Like, thank you, God. Like this was all someone's watching.
But again, I want to just make it very clear the difference between Jewish celebrities and secular celebrities.
Yeah.
We are vessels. I am a passage through which Hashem sends, through God sends, whether it's music or conversation or whatever it is, my skills are in hasbara, and you're with your cooking and your what all your multi-talents. And like you said, it's a shame not to use it. It's a responsibility to use it. But there's never this feeling like entitlement, like I need to be respected. No, I'm as skilled as the guy who fixes my washing machine. I just have a different talent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that very much. No, it's not about, you're right. It's like with a different focus. And the focus is part of just like bringing your gifts to the world and making the world a better place because of it, and connecting to other people and helping elevate them and understanding everyone has a mission. If you have the gift of identifying what your special gifts are and your mission in this world, it's like, thank you, God.
Right. And some of us are givers in the sense that we like to project. And some of us are more introverted and we do things behind the scenes, and that's great too. Everyone has different roles.
Correct.
Right. And it doesn't mean that either of us are juggling more or less. It's just a different dimension to what we do.
Completely.
Okay. I wanted to make that clear because people sometimes ask me and will be like, oh, can I have your autograph for song on my guitar? And I'm like, the same thing, like me, but at the same time, that means that they're listening to the music. That means it had an impact. That means I matter.
Totally.
And I gave them something valuable. I'm not a Britney Spears. You're not a Megyn Kelly that goes with whatever is the better agenda that day to get her likes. You have integrity. So
we try, we hope, and and we try to, I don't want to say preach, but we try to reach with like the right teachings, and the right messages to help. Like I said,
none of us are living like
elevate
billionaires.
This world.
So you can't say, "Oh, we're taking." I'm saying none of us. We're not taking advantage of anyone.
Yeah.
Like it's almost selfless in a way. Like we, like this video, thumbs up, subscribe to Moral Edge and to Jamie Geller Show. Okay, let's talk about your day-to-day job.
Okay.
3 million Jews engaged in learning Torah in 2030. Is that?
Yeah, that was the goal. That was Aish Vision 2030.
Okay.
And the idea was to get over 3 million Jews to be like learning Jewish wisdom on a regular basis. So already 2 or 3 years ago, we crossed 4 million Jews following 4 million followers online. And we're this year about to cross 1 billion video views at Aish. And now we're sort of taking it to the next level. So we're developing something called Aish U, which is basically an online university. So how do we take all these people that have been liking this like fun, quick microbites of like Jewish wisdom, Jewish content, and Jewish learning, and then take them through like structured learning paths that are perfectly catered to them in their language with AI now, everything that we dreamed of doing 5 years ago.
Simplified.
In a snap. Like it will be, we're already in beta and we're seeing tremendous results.
So you spend your days mostly in the Old City?
So, the Dan Family Aish World Center is headquartered in the Old City, as you know, across from the Western Wall. So definitely spend a few days a week there, whether it's shooting the new podcast, which is now called The Jamie Geller Show.
Yes.
So
where can people watch?
People can watch on YouTube, Jamie Geller.
Amazing.
YouTube.
And you're having guests every week?
Yes.
And
it's
the
so
view
exciting.
is the Kotel?
Yes, the backdrop is the Kotel.
Are we having people who come into town? Is it specifically Israelis? Or
it's anybody who we think we can have an interesting conversation with, but we definitely want to do it in person. I always say at the backdrop of the Western Wall, where heaven and earth meet.
I was just going to say, I get the chills thinking about Jamie Geller, that you could have been sitting anywhere, not anywhere, somewhere specific in Hollywood. And you're sitting across the Kotel. It literally has come full circle.
Yeah, I could have been at NBC Studios at Rockefeller Plaza, and now I'm at Aish Studios at Western Wall Plaza. Like I built Aish Studios with a beautiful lead gift from the Tratt family, and it was a dream. The first day I came into Aish, I said, I want to build Aish Studios here at Western Wall Plaza. And now it's not just me. We have Rabbi Daniel Rowe. We have Rabbi Dov Ber-Cohen. And we hope to have many more personalities, educators, and come through and be able to like host their own shows and start sharing like Jewish wisdom with the world.
I'm so happy we're going to see more of you.
Thank you.
What makes me happy.
Yeah, I came out from like, I went a little bit like behind the scenes when I went to Aish for a few years.
Yeah, sure. You were like more like behind.
To say I sort of came out of the closet again.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about let's go back to what we were saying originally, the Israeli in you, because here on the Moral Edge, we're very pro-Aliyah. We're strong Zionists. I
should have worn blue. I feel like you
look very natural.
Okay.
We're very earthy tones. No, this is working. It's working. So, like you were saying earlier, sometimes you feel more Israeli than Israelis, or you're not sure how Israeli you should feel. You ever have an outsider syndrome? And tell us about the experience. Your career aside, Jamie Geller as a Jewish wife and mother, raising children in Israel through October 7th, now through the Iran wars, and with this constant, I don't want to say fear. We don't live in fear, but we do have a constant reminder that we are unliked around the world, and that we live in the most contentious place on the planet, and that we can't just live here carefree and la-di-da, because unfortunately, we're a country at war, and it affects our lives. It affects our neighbors. It affects our children. It affects our schedules. I was saying, Purim was canceled. The Purim celebrations were canceled because of the war, and my kids were so excited for the holiday of Lag BaOmer because, thank God, there wasn't a war or COVID or something crazy. We had crazy COVID restrictions. We experienced that together as Americans living in Israel, being criticized by the world for having such a dictatorship, forcing us to wear masks. So you really go through the ringer when you live here. Like now that when you start thinking about it, it's not the 2-car garage, Florida life, Costco swimming pool version. Yeah. It's a little more rough around the edges. So tell us your experience as an Israeli. If you want to start with maybe October 7th. Sure. So first of all, I would have described it. If I did the intro and I was interviewing you, I would have had such a different perspective. Not that anything you said is not true. Everything you say, but it's like, I look at it so different. First of all, maybe you have better medication than I do. You're just in a better mood. You're more chirpy and optimistic. I told you, I got all my negative energy before I got here. But I actually, first of all, I feel so blessed to live here. I feel every day and every moment is a gift, and I feel it. It hasn't gotten old. It's going to be 14 years, and it's still, thank you, God, every day that I live here, and I would never want to live anywhere else. And I actually travel a lot for work, and I actually get anxious to leave here. It's so funny. It's so Israeli. Like, if there's a war, you want to run back, and you don't want to leave in case something should happen while you're away, because you want to be back here with your family and with your people. So my
he's now 16, but my son has been saying, and he came here when he was 3, or 2.5 actually. He always looks out and says, because we have beautiful views here in Beit Shemesh where we live, look at God's. He says, look at Hashem's beautiful mountains. And I always I'm so proud of him that he says that. He's been saying this at such a young age. My husband's like, he got it from me. But that's what we say.
Sure.
We look out there and we're like,
that.
look at these beautiful mountains. Look at the blessings that we have.
Colors and and it's ours and the blood that's been shed to be here.
Yeah.
It is part of our education, and it's a big conversation in your house.
I feel so privileged, and we all feel so privileged to be here. And I never think about the fact that, no, I don't have a 2-car garage. And I don't think about the fact that we, until the local store started carrying the Costco brand Kirkland garbage bags, that was the number one thing that I schlepped back with their 50 pounds, by the way. I paid for a whole extra suitcase for them.
Right.
Because it's I don't know, we're Americans, we make a lot of garbage.
You can't live without those bags. You can't live without those bags.
Amazing,
yeah,
totally.
we could do a whole episode on Israeli garbage bags.
Yeah, so it's but I don't even think about that on the day to day, if I would think about describing my experience. But you said to go back to October 7th. I think October 7th was so incredibly emotional.
Yeah, because you're a public person.
Yeah.
So you need to digest it, and then you needed to respond.
That's the first time that I stepped back out in front of the camera for October 7th.
You did or you didn't?
I did. I'm saying it was a few years. I came to Aish and I said all the things that you said about social media and being toxic and look at me. And I said I ran away from all this. Suddenly I fell backwards into this place. When someone said to me, you should open up a Facebook page. And I'm like, oh, you think so? I didn't realize, we didn't realize what we were signing up for, Chanale. There are people now who go into this industry I want to be an influencer, and they know with their eyes wide open what they are signing up for. We didn't know what we were doing. We thought we're opening a Facebook page, as if you're opening a website. It was just the cost of doing business. It's as if you're having a business card. Mm-hmm. And I really, really, it affected my mental health. It was not good for me, what was happening and showing my whole world. And I felt so immodest and so uncomfortable. And I felt
And also people were rough in the comments.
Yeah. And I felt exploiting my family. What do I have to show my family this for? Out there and put them out there on display and on parade. So I took a step back from social media in the limelight after all that success. And I went to Aish and I said, look, I've got all these amazing skills. I know new media, I know traditional media, I know social media, I know digital media. I'm a producer. I'm a marketer. I'm a brander. Let me build this brand for someone other than myself. Let me build it for Jewish wisdom, for Torah, for God, for the Jewish people. And that's what I did for 4 years. And then October 7th happened. And at Aish, we actually had a global day of unity and prayer.
I remember, first of all, Aish was amazing.
Yeah.
You guys were there for your audience, streaming, making films, interviewing hostage families.
Correct.
And people felt like you cared because this was it happened here, not there.
Yes.
But Aish kept
we connected.
You're right. You kept people involved because people were desperate.
They were desperate to feel, to connect, to hold hands, to pray, to understand,
so
to have
hard,
meaning.
Though, to keep yourself together because you're such an emotional person.
Chanale. Okay, I have so much to say. But you're right.
Okay.
But you're right. I'm such an emotional person. I wear everything on my sleeve. I didn't think I was helping to produce this, and I'm thinking our CEO, Rabbi Stephen Berg, is going to introduce and open this global day of unity and prayer to the millions that are live streaming. We have the chief rabbis, the hostage families, and this is in the days after October 7th, where everyone is still shaking and comatose and The Walking Dead and with tears in their eyes. And he couldn't make it in because the skies were shut, the airports were shut. He said, Jamie, could you introduce this evening and get on in front of the cameras and in front of the live stream and in front of millions? And that was the beginning of this third, fourth, or fifth act, whatever you want to call it in my career.
And also that you became not Jamie from the cookbooks. You became Jamie from Israel.
Correct.
Jamie from Aisha Torah.
Correct.
Jamie from, the interview that brought people into what's happening here.
Yeah, and you were there at the special screening. You came and sat next to me when we did the first film on October 7th. Then we had another one called After October. Our film this year is called While We Were Celebrating, because they came for us this year all over the world while we were celebrating. Manchester, Yom Kippur, Bondi Beach, Hanukkah, and the Israel-Iran war, Purim Pesach, as you just said, your kids.
Right.
So that's what this film is this year. So I hope you'll sit next to me at the premiere screening.
You bet. I am, I when I was preparing the intro for this, I was thinking, this is not going to fit into an hour interview. I could talk to Jamie all day, but the truth is, we managed.
We'll finish on my show,
We'll finish on
the
your
Jamie Geller show. Okay.
And also, we managed
We already have a special episode lined up for you. By the way.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So we managed to cover the things that we really that are really important to us here on the show. First of all, the realization that a life well lived, where you're dedicated to a higher purpose, where you think about the future. You have, thank God, beautiful children. I'm a guest at your house from time to time, and then you have a lot of nachas from them. You should, continue
and
to.
You too, Chanale. Those gorgeous kids and family.
Thank you. But what I'm saying is, like, we're at the stage when the work we put in, the investments and the sacrifices we made are starting to come into fruition.
Yeah.
So I thought it was so important to bring what you're doing to our audience, and I want people to follow you. And from what I've seen over the years, everything you do is always tasteful and in line with our Jewish values and with the values of Jewish women, of course. I
try really, really, really hard.
And listen,
thank you.
Nobody's perfect. We're all, behind the scenes trying to keep it together. And Israel has all its challenges. I don't even think we spoke enough, but you touched on all the things you did after October 7th, but we're still healing.
Yeah.
Like, I could still fall apart talking about October 7th.
Yeah.
There's so many triggers, Those things are personal, and those things affect us and our families in our little world.
But I always say to everyone, we feel the embrace of the Jewish people all around the world and the people that love Israel all around the world. And that makes a huge difference to us. And I think that helps with the healing so much. So yes, we could talk forever and a day about the haters, but there are plenty of people, I know the people who are watching the show, who love us and support us here in Israel. And we feel that loving embrace, and that gives us a lot of strength.
And we're here to show you that we're like everyone else.
Yeah.
We don't have horns. We're not.
It's crazy.
It's crazy that we have to even do this. And some of the comments that I've read on the episodes we've put out so far, you mention Israel and people just come.
They go ballistic.
Yeah,
and
I know. We want to, we say we pull back the curtain and show you that at the end of the day, yes, we're professionals, and yes, we're doing great things here, and yes, Israel is the most incredible place in the world, but we're ordinary people, just like you, and it takes all the ordinary people to come live here in Israel to make it one extraordinary place.
Yeah, we are waiting to hug and welcome everyone home.
Yes.
We'll be the first to hug you. Like, Hannah and I will go to the airport, guys.
We will be waiting in the airport. Every week, I am so lucky to sit across from somebody who chose this place, who fought for it, who just really holds on to something that the rest of the world doesn't always see. If today's conversation moved you, be sure to follow us on moraledge.com. You can watch us on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Tell your friends that you're enjoying our content. And be sure to be back next week for the Weekly Squeeze on Moral Edge. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you, Chanale. I love you.
I love you too.